Well, good morning. Welcome back to the Torridon area. Just making my way down towards Loch Clare. It's a walk I've done 4 or 5 times so far. Each time the light hasn't quite happened. It's happened a little bit, but there's a particular area that I want to kind of shoot in. Now, as you can see by the ambient light, the sun is almost up. It's 7:45. Sunrise is just after 8 o'clock. So you might ask, aren't you a bit late for this, Nigel? Well, actually, the area that I'm hoping to shoot in doesn't really get any light. Now, don't get me wrong, if we could see the peaks, there will be some of that pre-sunrise glow and early sunrise light on those peaks. But actually, the area of the loch beyond Loch Clare that I want to kind of include in the frame doesn't really get the light for a good 15-20 minutes, maybe even later after. So that's why I've afforded myself a little bit of a later start this morning. So the last few days that I've been coming down here, kind of done a lot of that pre-sunrise and just after sunrise images in this area here. Some lovely trees around and some beautiful autumn colour, as you'd expect. Hasn't all been blown away to Iceland just yet. The peaks are shrouded in cloud this morning, which hasn't been the case the last few times. First morning I come down here, the peaks were lovely and clear, but there was very little cloud in the sky. And then the second time I came down, actually we did get a little bit of high level cloud with the peaks being clear. We even got a rainbow. So even though I've got the next week, maybe 2 weeks on my own without Nicola, and so there is the temptation to, fly about, 10 different locations. I don't think that does me any good from an imagery perspective, so I've forced myself. It's not really forcing yourself, come on, look at the conditions, look at the locations, but I've told myself that I'm not really going to wander too far, at least this week, from this little stretch of road, which sort of is a couple of woodland walks that I can do, and obviously down here, Loch Clare. It's just that allows me to really see a place multiple times, which, as I've said many times before, I really do think it's the only way that you can start to get a sense of the place. So my plan normally is out in the morning, weather permitting, for a bit of photography, bit of scouting, back to the van for some of that work malarkey, grab some lunch, and then use the afternoon for more scouting, some potential photography. The real benefit with being this far north, this time of year, you can actually shoot all day. The light is actually soft enough at times that you can find yourself shooting all day. So, and the last few days, unfortunately, by the time sort of 3-4 o'clock has come along, it has been rather biblical weather. But of course, rather than rain stopping play, I like to think of it as rain starts play. Right, let's carry on. Hat's come off. Yeah, apologies for the whole wild man of the north look, by the way. Don't know what's going on there. Again, another reason for coming down to places multiple times. I've kind of walked this little path several times, and while there's no light on it at the moment, I kind of knowing where the light is potentially going to be. There's a little scene just behind me here, and again, won't be to scale, so I'll throw up an iPhone image, or actually that may work, because of course the light's going to be coming right down. Heron just flying across there. The light's going to be coming down, illuminating not only the hill behind, but also those Scotch pines. So, and I'm thinking a little square format would actually work it out. So some of those lovely little reeds coming through as well. A very noisy heron. Right, let's keep wandering. So here I am set up in one of the spots, and actually I've started to shoot a bit earlier than I thought I would, because what I'm really looking for is obviously light here in this valley. But a few minutes ago there was just a lovely soft golden light. We're starting to get a little bit of nice colour just peek up in those mountains. So I'm actually shooting a little bit earlier than I thought I would, because what I'm really hoping for, and it's looking positive, that we'll actually get some lovely light over the loch here as well. So just shooting on the XT2 with 18-135 at 18mm. I actually didn't think we were going to get to see the peaks this morning, but there you go. Gorgeous. Now that soft light has disappeared. Now while there is still some nice light on those mountains, I think now that the foreground, I mean maybe got one with a little bit of that soft light in it, but now that that light has really sort of subsided from here, even though there is some gorgeous light on the mountains, I think I'm going to hold fire and just hope that we get some light coming into this loch. It's looking promising now, and surrounded by stags roaring. As long as they stay over there, we're all good. This is just beautiful. Gorgeous light, stags roaring, the potential of more light. Anyway, so what I'm doing at the moment is I'm actually just watching as the light kind of illuminates at different times different parts of the mountains and different peaks, and every time I see a different part of the mountain illuminated, I'm taking another image, with the thought being that in post I might do a bit of time blending and actually take some of the best light from the last 15-20 minutes and blend it into one image. Not for the purist, I know, but have you seen me? This is hardly the face of a pure man. It's just gorgeous. That light is just, oh, it's like a dirty mustard yellow. Oh, there's a bit of moisture in there. I mean, what we could potentially get here is actually a little unicorn moment, you know, a rainbow or two. Just beautiful. Oh, Scotland, you're incredible. So there's very, very light cloud just above the mountain there, so I do think we are going to get some nice light in the valley. What I'd like is there to be just a little bit of cloud in front of the sun, just to diffuse the light a little bit. Always important to look to the sky, see whether or not there's, if your light's a bit too harsh, maybe wait for a little fluffy to float past. Just beautiful. We're starting to, the light now has pretty much reached the tops of those trees, so we're going to start getting some light in and amongst the trees as well. Now there's a couple of things that might happen here. One, the cloud might come in a little bit too much, and every so often it is hiding the peaks. I would like to see some of the peaks in there. Number two, of course, thankfully this weather seems to be moving kind of this way. There seems to be some moisture in there, so hopefully it doesn't come across the top of me, because that could be game over. And at the moment there's a couple of thicker clouds moving towards the sun, so it still could go all south, but oh, we're starting to get some light on the tops of those trees, so back to it. So as you can probably see on my face, that sun's coming up. The only problem that I'm going to face now with the light in the valley sticking with this composition, you can probably see it, there's a huge big kind of blue patch, which is not really adding too much to the scene. It wasn't really as noticeable in the earlier frames, but now it kind of is. So I think once this light does hit the full valley, or the loch, and the blue patch is still there, I'll probably start looking for a different composition. I've already got my eye on a couple of ones which will probably be more sort of picking out little details in the landscape. So, but we'll give it another few minutes, because that sun is literally probably about 10 minutes away from the loch's edge. Just a little word on the framing. So right hand side of the frame, I haven't just come up here and plopped the camera down. I'd kind of worked out a few sort of scenarios, and what I'm using is this. I'll put up on the frame. The tree. If you notice, there's just a little kind of gap in the tree, which almost mimics the. Oh, hang on! Here comes the light. Oh, there you go. Might not last for long, but I'll get back to that whole framing discussion in a minute. One last thing I need to do. Be very careful. Now that sun has got really bright on this front-facing tree, we're going to get down and we're going to fire the shot because my shadow was in the tree. Right, so now that light is kind of up and probably going to be up for a little while, it's still lovely and soft. So what I'm going to do is start now approaching some of those other compositions. Just beautiful. What a morning. And really made even more special by hearing those stags roaring over there. Mainly because they're over there and not here. Right, let's go look for something else. So as you can see, the audio in the final outtake decided not to work. So I guess I should record on here in the post-production room. Well, actually, from the van on a cold, wet night just outside Oban. Torridon, like so many places I've visited so far in this trip, was both challenging from a weather perspective, but also equally beautiful, with light at times that seemed almost impossible to be real. It's also an area, while seemingly vast when you look on a map, provides a number of photographic opportunities in a relatively small area. Sadly, the image that I spent time working on that morning just didn't really sit well with me. I'm not sure if it was the time blending or simply the composition just wasn't right, so I'm sorry I won't be showing the result in this vlog. In the meantime, however, here are a few more images from the area, some captured that morning, others at different times. I hope you enjoy, and we catch up again soon. Bye bye.